Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the public test server where 10.0 is showcasing the brand new commander skill trees. Today I'm taking a look at the Battleship one and focusing on secondary battleships because I'm very much a fan of my GK, Mr. Lunchins, and of course my secondary build. So I'm going to talk about the comparisons between live and of course the public test server, and some concerns that I have over the design. Because right off the bat, Wargaming, you are 2 for 2, forcing me to level my commander from 19 to 21 to have the same exact build, or nearly the same exact build. That's a really bad look, because that basically proves what everyone seemingly was saying, that in fact, going from 19 to 21 is not a bonus as it's presented, or an extra option. It is in fact a negative. You are taking away power from a player and forcing them to have to invest back into the commander to maintain that same power. And I've played a lot of GK, I've played a lot of Des Moines. On live, you're just a weaker form of yourself on the public test server with 19. And I don't like that, but that's what I'm seeing. I will continue to focus on this. Basically, guys, I'm writing down the differences between the builds. Obviously, I'm completely ignoring everything. Like one thing that I've noticed between the Des Moines and the GK is the turret traverse effect is actually more powerful on the public test server than it is on live. So that's a nice bonus. And for like the cruiser, it's a 1-point skill. For the battleship, it's the same 2-point, but that is a really nice feel when you're looking at all the other negatives. You know, at least there's that, right? But it's really apparent to me that no consideration was put in place to really and truly, in the fairest way, not in the, oh, well, technically, it's a more expensive build. Well, of course it is. You have nerfed the cost of the skills. Adrenaline Rush costs 1 extra point. Priority Target costs 1 extra point. Superintendent costs 1 extra point. And they named it something different. But it's basically Superintendent because it's just giving me that repair charge. So, it's clearly there. It's staring me in the face. So, I just think that if you would like to have a better customer perception of the up-and-coming system, try to make sure that the skills themselves don't drop off in their value as much. And I don't know what the best way to do that is. Maybe you switch positions, and instead of making a skill that people really like more expensive, maybe you make it cheaper. Just to do it, to make sure that that skill that's really great is, you know, something that most Battleship players will try and do. You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, like tanking, because, boy, I was commenting about the cruiser's lack of tanking skills, and you would think that coming over to a secondary battleship, the GK, this is quite literally, potentially, the most tankiest battleship in the game because of the way its armor is designed. Obviously, the Kremlin has really thick armor, but the Kremlin has other weaknesses in the way that the damage control works, the heal, the lack of hydroacoustic for torpedo protection. The AA is absolutely horrible on the Kremlin. On the GK, prior to the live client, you could actually have a halfway decent AA setup, because secondary battleship builds inherently buffed AA as well. Wargaming ripped all the AA skills out to offer the illusion that there is actually a larger choice pool, and instead you've split one skill into 2 and made them cost the same. So you've doubled my cost. Doesn't feel good. So big criticism of that. Versus the live client, I miss out on 15% extra AA shell explosion damage, 10% improved continuous AA damage, and you know, that's not a lot, but it all adds up. And as a battleship, you are under constant AA at some point, especially a GK. Those AP bombers want you. And it's my opinion, yes, you are going to get attacked. Yes, you're going to get damaged. But anything is going to help out. And as a secondary battleship, you're the frontline soldier. This is the tank. This is the tip of the spear. It should be. And Wargaming needs to do a better job of empowering the tip of the spear, because it's been too long without a tip. You know, we have not had a game where secondaries were at least up there with all the others. Like, we need tanks in this game, guys. I hope you guys see how bad it is without tanks. When the game does not have health and armor to work through and angle, it goes in an instant, you know. And by not really emphasizing anything in the changes that they've made to this battleship, it's really not done much. And this AA secondary combo, it's really just unnecessarily making the same effect more expensive. Because advanced firing training is 4 points right now on live. It gives you secondary gun range equal to secondary gun range, which is 3 points on this. And then it also has that 15% extra flak burst, where there's a 2-point skill, I think, that does 10% continuous and 10% flak. Now you could argue, oh, that's collectively better, but it's 2 points. So that means it's 5 points to even have anything that's sniffing a skill that was 4 points. I would argue that spending 4 points and getting that kind of value is much better than spending 5, especially with the limited number of points. And this is just across the board. This is basically the entire 2 lines that I've covered so far. Yeah, they've pretty much just nerfed the cost of important skills, broken them up, just because I guess they want to have an excuse for having 5 rows. But the biggest issue is they've obviously taken away some of the hybrid nature of the skills, because the commander skill tree is no longer one size fits all. So that hurts classes that sort of benefited from, or specs that benefited from being better at a couple things, but not the best at maybe a different identity, you know, like accuracy. No one would ever say that the GK is accurate. But what if you could spec your battleship for accuracy on a GK? What if you could make sure that the secondary build on a Montana could have this, not necessarily the same 10 out of 10, but maybe it could have an 8 out of 10 experience and be better in other ways, you know, like the Montana has better AA than the GK. So it gives up on its secondary in order to have the better AA. Obviously, it doesn't have the same armor profile, and it doesn't have, you know, the same design. But I think that's just an interesting concept, much more interesting than what we're experiencing. Because basically what we're experiencing is they're just ripping away the united, you know, multi-system design of ships. The thing that's so cool is you're moving, you're shooting, you have AA, you have to consider your armor, you have to consider your consumables, you have to consider, you know, sailing into an island. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to balance in this game, and that's what's so great about it. It's not just aim down sight, shoot. You've got to absolutely master as many aspects of your ship in order to excel. And I just hope that we can get a commander skill tree that better facilitates that, because I'm just not seeing that. And I know it's early, but I was concerned at the Des Moines, and looking at the commander skill tree and experiencing it, I'm definitely concerned with my GK. You can plainly see the accuracy in the secondaries is kind of hilarious. Not that it's necessarily required to be successful now, because remember, any targets within my secondaries, I just get 10% fast reload, which is cool. But then, you know, maybe you don't go for secondary accuracy and you just use it as sort of an activation for your reload. What does that look like? You know, because it doesn't have any requirement that you hit the target, just that the secondaries, just that the target exists inside your secondary aura. So that's something to consider, but if I were to make that choice, I am still giving up some design that I benefited from on live in order to make that. It's not an addition to, it is either or. And it can't be either or. It just can't be, because it's not adding the additional utility that you promised, going from 19 to 21. Remember, guys, this is with 2 extra points. So I should theoretically be stronger, relative. But I'm not. I'm in fact weaker, and I only have to spend 2 extra, buy 2 points to match my power, or at least be in the ballpark. Yeah, that's what we'll say. We're in the ballpark. So my impression of secondary Battleship, I like the reload improvement. That's a nice bonus. I'm already doing that, so it ties very well. Again, there's no indicator on the screen that it's active. It would be really nice if that was the case. I am not a fan of priority target being nerfed in costs, superintendent, adrenaline rush. These are all skills that you want to take on a secondary Battleship, honestly, because priority target tells you when a DD's near you. If it's an unspotted target and there's no possibility that anyone else could be targeting you, it gives you information for free. That's gone. You just can't afford to take that, and adrenaline rush, and the new superintendent. Because, it's whatever. And they might argue, oh, well, it's not the new superintendent, it's superintendent plus plus. And, I guess, okay, it's just a situation where damage control takes longer to come off a cooldown. I can't recover as much. I don't have as much AA power. Just same criticism. I might gain more damage output, but I become more glass cannon, and I don't like that feeling, especially in a world that's so one-sided already, because, these are the dark days of the matchmaker, where one team wins in 5 minutes, and you have no chance of winning if you're on the team that just loses 7 ships in like 2 minutes, It feels bad. So I think this was a great opportunity to offer more, and I just don't see that right now. But I hope for it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. I also have my North American Recruit invite. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.